Previously on Breakfast with Martin Bester.
Wake up, wake up.
Give it up.
Well, it's Mel. Hoe gaan dit?
Hallo julle.
So what you been up to?
Really?
I know. Welcome back to South Africa. Welkom terug.
Dankie, dit is great om terug te wees. It's bittersweet. Dis my land, ek meen, it feels like home.
I'm glad you say that, honestly, because I hear that from a lot of South Africans
Ja,
that go overseas. You go overseas, I suppose, expecting the grass to be greener on the other side, and then you realize you miss stuff. Was there something specific that you missed?
100%. Die taal is regtig iets wat you take it for granted. So as jy in Amerika is, dan dink jy, okay, it's going to be great, it's going to be this new adventure. En dan na 'n maand of 2, dan kom jy agter, maar as iets bietjie Afrikaans klink dan, of as iemand die woord South Africa gebruik, dan kyk jy skielik wat sê hulle. Because jy mis jou mense verskriklik. Jy mis alles wat hierso is, want you grew up here. So ek moet ook sê, hulle is advanced, hulle is so regulated, but so behind. Ek voel net omdat Suid-Afrika kleiner is, it's more intimate. Ons mense is liewer vir mekaar. I think we appreciate each other more. Daai kant is dit maar 'n rat race en jy het elkeen vir homself en die duiwel vir die res.
What's the first thing you did when you got back?
Toe ek nou daar ry by die ICE facility, het ek heel eerste op my foon ingegaan en seker gemaak ek kan daai app download om met Piet te gesels. So dit was die heel eerste ding, en dan op pad lughawe toe, dan stop jy nou maar vir 'n Starbucks koffie. So toe het ek nou vir my 'n koffietjie daar gekry. Die mense dink toe dis nou vreeslik arrogant om 'n koffie te kry, terwyl daar niks anders is wat jy kan doen nie. En toe die eerste ding toe ek geland het, was obviously om met my prokureur te ontmoet. Hulle het vir my gewag by die lughawe en my familie ook. Ons het toe 3 ure koffie gedrink en net gepraat oor die experience en jy weet hoe hulle ons op die vloere laat slaap het en all die just horrible things that they put us through, and especially Piet. Ek weet hy was by Alligator Alcatraz waar hulle hom gemartel het daar met traangas en hulle sit hulle in hokke in. Dis verskriklik ijskoud daar binne. En ook daar sulke groot verskriklike spreiligte en generators. So dit raas. Jy kan nie slaap nie. Jy kan nie regtig 'n kombers nie. It's horrible.
Is it an app so that you can speak to Piet
Yes.
in the facility?
Yes. So in the facilities they have an app called the Getting Out app.
Oh.
So as jy iemand se eienaar het, kan jy met hulle praat. So baie van die H2A boere het uitgereik na my toe and they found me on the app.
When you're talking about the alleged die marteling soos jy gesê het,
Yes.
the treatment.
Yes.
When you're talking about the alleged treatment that you received, why would that have happened? What do you think?
So al wat jy daar binne kan doen as jy in die facility is, daar's library. So jy kan dan alles oplees oor immigration, what the strategies are, enige iets oor law. It's a massive law library. Nie rarig novels wat jy kan lees nie. So het ek opgelees om te kyk wat gaan aan daar binne en why this facility en hoekom stuur hulle mense deur soveel trauma. They want to abuse you basically, so dat jy moet sê, okay, I want to go home voluntarily. Maar dit kos hulle minder geld.
Does this facility only house people who are in America allegedly illegally?
No.
Or so who else is also in this facility?
Jy sien, hulle vang enige ou wat 'n pending visa het. Daar's mense met green cards daar binne. ICE kyk nie eers na jou dokumente nie. Hulle gooi jou daarin and then you must sort it out with the immigration judge. En daar's geen repercussions nie. Of hulle nou reg of verkeerd is, nobody really, hulle kan hulle nie so regtig nie. Ek sou gelove het, want ek meen ek het so baie geld verloor. So daar's ongelukkig mense daar binne met families, mense wat daar gebore amper is daar binne. En hulle het nie die regte dokumente nie, because hulle het ingekom as babas. Nou word hulle daar ingegooi en die families word opgesplit. Daar's mamas daar binne wat hulle kinders word vir die weeshuis gegee.
Sure.
So jy kan allerlei dokumente daar invul wat ek gesien het om nou te vra waar is jou kinders. Dit is the most horrific abuse of human rights I have ever seen in my life.
Did you change your view on the way they do things over there
100%.
before and after your experience?
Nee, voor ek gegaan het ik gedink, nee, Trump's doing a great thing with ICE. Hy haal die kriminele uit die land uit, maar dit is glad nie wat dit is nie. Daar is omtrent, okay, daar is seker kriminele daar binne, maybe, maar ek kan jou waarborg 98% is net gewone mense met 'n gewone werk, nurses, doctors, lawyers, businessmen, ek het businesswomen ontmoet daar binne, en hulle het, party van hulle het 'n green card, pending visas, pending asylum en refugees as jy
So some of them are legal.
Yes.
Most of them are legal.
Ja, en die probleem is wat ICE ook sê is don't trust the immigration judges because hulle gaan net jou geld vat, which they did with us, a lot of money, en hulle kan jou nie help nie. Ons immigration judge wat het vir ons gesê, ons het die regte papiere gefile. Hulle het vir ons gesê dat if we file before the visitor visa is up, gaan jy standing hê. So you don't have standing.
So they want you to leave, basically, and then it saves them time and money.
Ja, so hulle kry geld om jou daar in te sit, nommer 1, but then to keep you there cost a lot of money. So,
So
ja,
why is Piet still there?
they split the families up completely. Put you in this facility, put the husband in a different facility. En dit was ook in die nuus gewees waar hulle oor Iranians gepraat het. Mans en vrouens wat daar aangekom het in Amerika, gevaal het vir asylum, straight to jail, straight to ICE. En hulle het hulle opgesplit. Die vrou het eventually opgeëindig in Istanbul, sy het daar in asylum gekry. Hulle het hulle gedeport na ander plekke toe waar die man en vrou is heeltemal die wêrelde uitmekaar uit. So they split us up and then I had to see a judge and Piet had to see a different judge.
I'm going to tell you, I'm actually quite shocked hearing this.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you why. I'm shocked hearing this because of the contrast. I mean, you went viral across the world, and especially obviously in South Africa, by, well, this is my opinion anyway, coming across as very pro-America, very anti-South Africa.
Yeah.
And now hearing you talk like this, and at this amper hele omkeer, how does that make you feel? I mean, you must feel a tiny bit embarrassed.
Of course. No, of course. Ek voel baie hartseer dat you must always check your perspective. It's never too late to learn a lesson. En ek het vir myself gesê, ek gaan mense sagter judge. I'm not going to judge them when they say things about me because it's one perspective. So ek wil ook hê mense moet my nie hard judge that I had a different perspective and now was pushed to the other side en ek was geforseer om 'n ander perspective te sien.
Sure.
But I've seen both perspectives now en dit is 'n verskriklike valuable, baie duursame les om te leer dat don't judge people very harshly because it's only from one point of view that they have.
I mean, you must, at the same time, probably feel very apologetic.
Very apologetic.
I mean, there
I
are a lot of
didn't
South
see it.
Africans
Yeah.
that were probably highly offended
Yeah.
and sorry. I mean, I watched some of your videos and I was like, geez, I wish you had a different view of South Africa and of us.
Yeah, before we went. Remember, you can only talk from your own experience.
Ja, ja.
Ons is aangehou met guns. Mense daag by ons huise op. Dan kom hulle daar met default judgments wat jy nie weet hoe hulle dit gekry het nie. So ons was baie seer gemaak deur die corruption wat ons persoonlik mee moes gedeel het. En weet ons vorige franchisees, my prokureur sê ook vir my, Mel, just because someone isn't happy with how a deal went, doesn't make you this criminal. Doesn't make you like a scallum en nou het jy weet nie goeie besigheid gedoen nie. The business didn't work out for them. Maar die kontrak was reg, die geld was reg, die betalings was reg, alles was above board. So I get where we are coming from, maar ek is ook baie dankbaar dat ek nou kon a different perspective sien. It's very painful.
Maar ek moet vra, so ons weet hoe Piet voel oor mense van kleur in hierdie land, het dit baie duidelik gemaak, en hy sê hy staan by dit. Hoe voel jy en hoe kom jy dan teruggekom Suid-Afrika toe waar daar baie mense van kleur is wat jy met elke dag met werk of praat of net in samelewing en met wees?
Dankie vir die vraag. Ek waardeer dit verskriklik baie want media het Piet gemisquote. Ek het met hom gepraat en hy is ook baie apologetic that he only had one perspective as well, our own experience. So hy het gesê hy voel regtig jammer vir dit, maar hy staan by sy siening, meaning die land word nie reg gehardloop nie. Hy voel dat corruption is breaking this country. So hy staan by daai dat die land bietjie agteruit gaan. Ek voel ook Piet is 'n bietjie van 'n doemprofeet. He sees things very differently and very 3D. He's a little bit of a politician, maar ek ken my man baie goed. En ek kan vir jou nou sê sy beste vriend in die tronk is 'n swart man van die Bahamas. And the way that he deals with people, even in America, is very respectful. He doesn't judge people based on their skin color. Ek dink maar net, omdat ons hier was, ons het hierdie verskriklike trauma gehad met, unfortunately, black people, maar dit maak nie van ons nou hierdie world racists nie.
I think a lot of people will still probably be left with a question. If the ICE incident didn't happen to you, would you still have had the same views about South Africa and South Africans?
No.
Do you think it would have changed?
You will see on my Instagram that in December we stopped videos.
Okay.
Maar toe het ek en Piet gesê, you know what, South Africa is really not that bad. Want dit is nou simpel om te sê, maar we have Woolworths. Hulle het Whole Foods, but it's not the same. Ons kos is soveel meer gesond. Die mense daar kry kanker en val om soos vlee deur die goed wat hulle eet en drink daar. Hier gebeur dit nie. Deur so 'n klein dingetjie was ek so in awe toe ek deur Whole Foods loop die eerste dag en ek sien, but this is not Woolworths. Toe dink ek, we are doing a lot of things right. Die polisie daar is verskriklik trigger happy. Ek was al afgetrek in die begin. Ek het 'n links gedraai waar ek nie moes nie, maar ek ken mos nou nie die padrail so goed nie, I'm still like a tourist. Jy moet reguit aanry, U-turn maak en dan kan jy daar inry. Dis daar 7 cops op my. It's too much. Dat hulle die intimidasie en die aggressie waarmee hulle mense attack because there's too many people. En ongelukkig het hulle baie geld, so they can afford to have 700,000 police on top of you deur as jy net verkeerd links draai. En toe dink ek, you know what, our police force, yes, we have corruption, maar ons mense het empathy. 'n Polisieman hier, hy gaan jou bel en vir jou sê, what is your side of the story? Daar, as jy iemand sê, this person slapped me in the face, without even checking if there's proof, they will lock you up. Ek het daar in die aand so baie vrouens ontmoet, wat gesê het, like, I was just walking into the store and this guy was attacking me about something that I put in my bag and I showed him there's nothing in my bag, straight to jail. Ons polisie is nie so nie.
It almost feels to me like you're in a position to give South Africans a message.
100%.
And I'm talking about South Africans that love South Africa and South Africans that are negative about South Africa, because you often hear people saying that they want to get out of here, they want to move elsewhere in the world. What would your message to them be?
Don't make any permanent decisions. Like, moenie alles hier verkoop nie. Don't just move, but experience another place as a resident, not as a tourist. Want as jy 'n toerist is, soos wat ons is baie Amerika toe al gewees, ons het 'n paar keer 'n jaar gegaan, so ons het gevoel like we are Americans, jy weet, ons ken die land, it's really not the same, en die gras is nie groener nie, it's just another world with more people. And I can tell you one thing, we are more alike than we are unalike. I've seen the world.
Can I ask you about the alleged Publix incident?
Yes.
What
happened?
What actually happened there?
Okay, so I had to gather the pieces. Once we got arrested, I was so shocked. I didn't know what I did wrong. So I had to kind of pick up from the words that the police were saying, what happened. And from that, sitting there in ICE and thinking, you know, what happened? How did this go wrong? What did I do wrong? I had to gather little bits and pieces of information to make up what happened, because tot vandag toe, there's no evidence of what happened. No footage, no video. En ook het ek vir die polisie gevra, show me what happened, en hulle kon nie, daar's niks. So ek sit toe in ICE en ek sê vir myself, okay, this police woman told me that wanneer ek geswipe het die kaart gedecline towards the end. Like 4 or 5 times that I went there, het het decline. So nou dink hulle dat omdat het decline het, was my geld op. But that's not at all what happened. My rekeninge was vol genoeg vir my om te koop wat ek nodig het om te koop. En ek is toe bank toe daarna, but let's start in the beginning. Hulle het alles genoem wat ek ooit daar gekoop het. Dis nie wat weggeraak het of nie betaal is nie. Die kaart het 'n paar keer decline en die polisievrou sê vir my, ja, but your card declined, so jy weet, your money is up. Ek dink, that's a very strange observation. En ek sê toe vir haar, but did you not see that when the card declined, the guy, and she's got this on camera, the clerk came to help me to print me a slip to take to another teller, like almost aan die ander kant van die gebou, wat jy gaan cash betaal. En ek vra toe vir ek sê toe vir but I paid cash. Sy sê, cash that you got where? Ek dink toe, what do you mean, in my handbag? Ek nie besef sy bedoel, cash wat jy by wie kry nie. Toe ek nou eers daar in ICE gesit en gewonder, like, so she meant like my money is probably up. That's what she's thinking. En dis wat sy obviously seker vir die wêreld gesê het, dat hierdie mense se geld op en hulle kan nie 'n pakkie chappies bekostig nie. En ook daar was 'n incident, toe ek nou weet my kaart hou aan decline, wat ek toe gedoen het is, voordat ek shop, gaan ek eers by die self-scan en ek probeer 'n pakkie chappies of 'n chocolate scan en betaal. om te kyk of die kaart gaan decline. Nou sê hulle daai decline van daai pakkie, she couldn't even afford a packet of chappies. Ek skaam my dood vir hulle conclusions, because that's not at all what happened. So, yeah, it's kind of left there. En sy het ook vir my gesê, but your husband did something. En ek sê vir haar toe, there is no way that this man can even steal something that's free on the floor. Sy sê toe vir my, but if I show you, will you believe me? I said, yes, if you show me, I will believe you. Sy wys toe vir my 'n video waar Piet shop, die 2 goedjies wat hy scan, 1, 2, sit dit in die sakkie, betaal. Ek sê toe vir haar, but you just showed me a video of where he was just shopping 2 things, he bought 2 things. Yeah, but you know what, he's very slick. So sy het besluit hy slick. There's nothing there that he did wrong. So ek voel so 'n bietjie ons is getarget in some type of way, omdat ons dalk vieslike rassistiese comments gemaak het of something. En ook, in Amerika is die mense verskriklik celebrity bedonderd. If you're a celebrity and they can use something against you, it advances their careers apparently. So ja, dis maar wat ek gehoor het.
In your words, vieslike rassistische comments. You said hard-hitting, very offensive stuff.
Ja.
Is there a message that you have for people who took offense?
Ja, absolutely. Ek weet dat die media het dit bietjie uit verband uit geruk. It's not exactly perfect, maar if it was personal and if it came across harsh, I'm truly sorry. I'm really like embarrassed that it had to kind of reach this point, maar soos ek sê, ek het al in December besef, like, this is not okay. Like, South Africa is really not that bad. And that ons experiences, it was a personal experience. It was a very limited group of people. It's not everybody. And so if we generalized and made everyone feel like this is now all of you, I'm sorry.
I wanted to actually ask, because it's a great thing to step back from using social media, especially given that it does sometimes have an increased negative effect.
Yeah.
Don't you think it would be the right thing to do to still use those platforms
Yeah.
to share this new messaging?
100%. Yeah, I don't think Piet will be active on social, but I think it's an amazing platform. It's a double-edged sword. So I think if you use it to offend people, you should definitely also use it to make it right with the people.
Do you think he will?
He will for sure. I tried to guide him as well into a better place. And it's my job as a wife to help your husband see if he did something wrong. Ek is nie like completely blind to all the mistakes nie, maar ek weet ook waar hy vandaan kom, but I think I can slightly guide him in the direction that, you know what, if you generalized and if you offended everybody, let's apologize to everybody, because our perspectives have changed. We've seen the world now. We've seen how injustice really works and how an abuse of your human rights really work. En mense dink Amerika is the land of the free. It's not. South Africa is the land of the free. Hierso is jy vry. Hierso word jy nie met die lot in die kop geklap vir iets wat jy nie gedoen het nie.
So you're going to stay?
Yeah, of course.
What does your future look like? Are you here a year from now? Are you looking to move elsewhere?
So what people don't know is ons het nie gevlug nie. Ons het nie gevlug land uit nie. Ons is nie asylum seekers nie. Ons het 'n business visa geregister. So we were just going to expand our business into the Americas. Ons het nie gevlug nie. We were going to build our business, be back and forth. Jy weet, kom kuier hierso, bou weer dalk bietjie hierso, want ons het 'n great brand ontdek, Cuccio Nails, wat ons in Amerika wou begin het en dan expand into South Africa, want daar so 'n amazing opportunity in Suid-Afrika, of kom ons sê aspiring countries is verskriklik oop vir Amerikaanse experiences en Amerikaanse produkte. So dis wat ons sou gedoen het, is to restart the business but under a different brand, a different name, en ons het die ou ontmoet, Tony Cuccio. He's the king of nails en hy het vir Tammy Taylor geleer hoe dit werk. So
Hy het vir Xavier?
Tony Cuccio het vir Tammy Taylor geleer hoe die industrie werk. So he's kind of the king of nails. En it's great om hierdie mense te ontmoet, om te sien who's the real OG of nails.
It seems to me, it appears to me as if you are ready to make good. You said as a good wife, you're going to try and get Piet to that place as well.
Yeah.
Because if you're going to come back to South Africa, you're going to have to come back here and live and work.
Yeah, 100%.
And all the rest. Is it going to be harder work for him than yourself?
So ek dink, we have to start from scratch. We have to start from the bottom. We'll probably make a really good story to tell. Ek sal dit love om by women events te gaan gesels met hulle en vir hulle my progress te verduidelik en Piet se progress and just how to humble yourself and start over.
I just have one last question because
Yeah.
it's been boiling or bubbling under for the past year.
Yeah.
Has this entire experience made you re-look at the fact that you've got a designated group of South Africans who are receiving help and refugee status or refuge from the United States? And now that you've got different perspective
Yeah.
on things, what is your view of that, of Donald Trump's actions with regard to South African citizens and granting them asylum?
Yeah. So it sounds like Donald Trump is helping us, but he really isn't. There's nobody on the other side that's waiting for you with open arms to help you and guide you. Ek praat met 'n paar refugees ook daai kant. When they arrived, they put them into the most horrific destinations like Maine. There's no Starbucks, there's no nothing there. But they are ultimately hoping to get farmers. Mense wat regtig kan ploeg in die grond in. They don't want South Africans.
Yeah, but the messaging
Yeah.
is that because of crime, because people
Yeah.
are being
Persecuted.
attacked, persecuted, that's the messaging you've seen now with
I
your
have seen.
own
Yes.
own eyes.
Yeah. It's
That
false. It's fake.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a strategy. What the Americans do really well is to create narratives and really drive at it. And they are extremely divided, but they are the professionals at driving a narrative that isn't like that. Yes, people have gotten hurt on the farms. It is crime-based. I don't think it's
Sure, farm workers more
It's-
than farmers, though.
because
we know this.
farmers are generally white people. So hulle word getarget as mense word nou doodgemaak want jou skienkalle. Ek is getarget myself deur black economic empowerment omdat ek nie swart is nie, het ek my werk verloor. So those things happen. Maar die feit dat hulle drive het is narrative dat nie julle moet nou Amerika toe kom en daar word julle net geharass en seergemaak. It's just a fake narrative that someone started driving and it's working for someone. Maar die Amerikaners staan nie vir jou met oop arms en wag en gaan nou vir jou cozy huisie gee en 'n lekker werkie en you still have to work at it. So as jy daar aankom, wat die een girl gesê het is, sy was vir maande sonder werk. En dan at some point you have to start paying for that place that you live in.
Yeah.
En toe moes sy nou dringend werk soek en hulle kry nie vir haar werk in Maine nie. Sy het toe gesmeek, transfer me to Texas. So she's girl alone in Texas working for this company. En sy moet nou sien en kom klaar. So it's a very lonely situation. It's very bad.
Thank you for your time. I appreciate it. Is there one last message that you have for South Africans and for us?
Ja, ek het 'n laaste 'n pleit. I'm begging and pleading with the people to give us a second chance and to judge us softly and not believe everything, that came out of this. I promise you we are very honest people. We are very hardworking people and veral vir Piet, don't judge him too harshly want sy perspective was anders, it's changed. So let's give him another chance as well and let's forgive and not forget, but let's forgive each other like we would hope would be done to us.
I hope you understand what I'm about to say. I hope South Africans are kinder to you than what he was to them.
Yeah.
Thank you for your time.
Time to get up and go.
Ek geniet Martin Bester in die oggende. Dankie vir die goeie werk wat julle doen. Dis lekker om na julle te luister.
The morning vibe, they get you ready for work and they get you ready for school.
You're waking up with Breakfast with Martin Bester on your number one feel-good station, Jacaranda FM.